This is the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants podcast, a show to help independent UK-based HR consultants get a pipeline of perfect fit, high-paying clients without expensive adverts, time-consuming social media activities, or energy-sapping and monotonous networking meetings. I'm your host, Nick Paninsky, author of How to Land Your Dream Client, a book which explains everything you need to know to get every sale and client you ever want. And if that sounds interesting, then make sure to grab your copy from the influential consultant website today. That being said, let's get into today's show.
Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants with me, Nick Paninsky. It's almost the end of 2024. It's almost the start of 2025. So today, we're going to take a step back from the marketing, sales, personal development aspects and talk more about setting goals. Let's talk about getting success in 2025. So you probably know that setting goals is essential for your life and for your business. After all, if you don't know where you want to get to, then how will you know when you get there? Equally, how will you know where you're headed? But the last thing you want is to set your goals and then 2 weeks later have already given up on them. As such, today's episode isn't just about setting goals, it's also about making sure you achieve them too. Now, if you've ever set goals, you know it's all motivating at first, but then reality kicks in and you don't actually do anything with your goals. Well, that's not going to be the case this time, at least not in theory. See, we're going to talk today about managing both your logical and your emotional brain. What's your emotional brain? Well, it's that little voice in your head that pulls you away from doing what you know you're supposed to be doing. You know the one. Do it later. Don't do that. Sit down and have a rest instead. Ooh, play with your phone. You know that voice, right? We all have it. Well, the simple solution to that is to use the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins. The way to use this rule is when you get that intrusive thought that threatens to pull you away from doing what you're supposed to be doing, you catch yourself and you start counting down from 5. That pattern interrupts those intrusive thoughts, allowing you to take back control of your actions. Then you can focus on making progress on what's important. Simple, right? There's nothing else to the rule. It's that simple, but Mel Robbins has a TED Talk on it, about it. If you want to find out more, I'll include a link in the show notes. She also has a book. Again, I'll include a link in the show notes, but honestly, you don't need to know much more than the 5-second rule. Try it out next time thinking about messing around with your phone or procrastinating when you should be doing something that you know you should be doing. Catch yourself and start counting down from 5. You will take control of your life. It's that simple. So, yeah, now we've talked about that emotional brain and how to get control of that and how to make sure that we are working on what we're supposed to be doing. Let's talk about the logical brain and making sure that it is set up to achieve your goals. First things first, though, let's define what a goal is so that we're all starting from the same starting point. And I think this is really helpful too because of the power of the definition that I found. Are you ready? A goal is the result or achievement toward which effort is directed. Let me repeat that. A goal is the result or achievement toward which effort is directed. So if your goal is to earn 70K, that's where you direct your effort towards. That's where your effort is going to be directed towards. Your effort is going to be directed toward achieving 70K. Now, for me, that's a pretty good definition, in my opinion. It's effectively saying that you achieve what you put your effort into. And it's good because your effort will generate the result that you're working towards. So if you spend no time working on your goals or you have no goals, then you'll notice that you don't achieve what you want to achieve. Whereas if you set your goals and work towards them, then you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And more often than not, you'll achieve your goals. The crux of the matter, though, is do you have the right goals? Are you putting in the effort? And are you putting in the right effort? And those are the key questions. But before we get into those questions and how to ensure that you do actually achieve your goals, let's talk a bit more about the importance of setting goals. So the first of 5 benefits of setting goals, number 1, it creates a roadmap for growth. So as you'll soon see when we talk about setting and achieving goals, you're going to work backwards from the goal and therefore have the steps you need to achieve that goal. It creates a roadmap for you. So if your goal is to earn 70K in revenue within the next 12 months, that provides a measurable target, and that ensures that your pricing, your client retention, your upselling strategies align with achieving that figure. So if you say 70K, and again, we'll talk about this shortly, but if you're working backwards from that, how are you going to achieve that 70K? What is your roadmap? How many clients will you need? What will you need to charge your clients? If you know that you need to generate 10 leads for every one client, then you know that you need 10 clients to get to 70K, then you know you need to achieve 100 leads, right? So that's how it's going to work. You will then have a roadmap for your growth. The second benefit of setting goals is that it improves focus and time management. So, for instance, if one of your goals is to build a mailing list of 500 subscribers in the next 3 months, you're going to prioritize creating lead magnets, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many it is that you think that you need. And then you're going to run those campaigns over less critical tasks. Those are going to be your priorities, those creating the lead magnets and then running campaigns. Personally, I would say that 3 or 4 lead magnets is a lot, probably not necessary, but it depends on your audience and how much effort you want to put into creating a lead magnet. Number 3, the third benefit of setting goals. You get to measure progress and effectiveness. So regularly measuring your financial performance against your targets, that allows you to identify shortfalls early and adjust strategies such as, raising prices, targeting higher value clients, or getting in control of your ad costs or whatever it is that you're using to find your leads, find your clients. The fourth benefit, it drives consistency and reduces overwhelm. So clear goals provide structure, and that allows you to avoid the feast or famine cycle of marketing only when business is slow. That's what happens. That's why you are in feast or famine, because you're not consistent with your marketing. You only do it every so often, right? But if you set and act on your goals, which generate leads and clients, you won't have that feast or famine. So you will have consistency, you won't have overwhelm, you won't be unsure what to do with your time. Fifth benefit, you build confidence and control. So hitting financial targets is going to give you a sense of stability and control over your business. And that means you're going to feel secure in your ability to sustain your consultancy, invest in future growth. Equally, if you set a target of hitting 70K and you achieve that, imagine how great you're going to feel, right? You are going to be flying on cloud 9, floating on cloud 9. So hitting your goals, ultimate confidence. So now we've got the definition and you understand the importance of goal setting. Let's talk about how to set goals and to achieve them. Now, just to say quickly, I'm going to focus on business goals for examples when I'm explaining concepts, but you can use this plan and advice to set and achieve anything you want. So feel free to use the advice with whatever goal that you're thinking of, whether it's going to the gym more, whether it's improving your personal relationships with people. Whatever your goals, this advice is applicable. But as I say, to bring examples to life, I'm going to focus on business, marketing, finances, whatever it is. That being said, let's start off with the beginning by setting your financial goal for the year. This is going to set the tone for everything that comes afterwards. So how much do you want to earn? Take some time to work that out. Then it's on to one of the most important bits of goal setting. Why do you want to achieve that goal? Why have you come to that figure? The why is a big thing, right? Just ask Simon Sinek. And the reason this is important is that you can use this motivation anytime you feel like your plan is being derailed or you feel like you're losing motivation. You're going to remember why you started in the first place. Now, your why, it can be about getting away from pain. It can be about heading towards pleasure. So if you want to hit 70K, maybe it's because you want to pay your mortgage off. Maybe you want to pay your child through university. Maybe you want to buy your dream car, whatever it is. Maybe you just want to shove it in your ex's face and say, look at me now, Frankie. Whatever your reasons are for achieving your goals is your business. You don't need to justify them to anyone. But you might want to consider coming up with about 10 reasons and then maybe narrowing down to the top 3, your choice. And then you could dot these reasons around places in the home or at work. And that way you'll notice them and you'll keep yourself motivated and top of mind. You could even read these reasons to yourself every morning and every evening. That way you are reminding yourself what you're working towards and why it's important to you. Growing a HR consultancy can be incredibly lonely. Your friends and family pay polite attention, but they don't really get it. And the fear of where the next client is coming from can be incredibly daunting when you've got mouths to feed and a mortgage to pay. All in all, becoming self-employed wasn't quite as fun and easy as you thought it'd be. And I get it, trust me. That's why I've set up the HR Business Success Squad, and I'm inviting you along to grab one of the limited spaces. In the squad, the first thing we do is get laser focused on where you want your business to get to and how you're going to get there. From there, it's all about making progress with one-to-ones, fun competitions, trainings, Q&As, and interacting with a fantastic group of people who are in the same boat as you. They get what you're going through and what you're trying to achieve because they're on the same path as you, so you can hold each other to account. And the best part? There's no contract. The HR Business Success Squad is a monthly pay-as-you-go membership. You can come and go as you please. If it's not for you, you're free to leave. No hard feelings, no cancellation charges, and no early exit fees. So if you're ready to create a real plan for growth with real support and people alongside you to cheer you along as you make progress towards your business goals, then visit the Influential Consultant website today and join the HR Business Success Squad. So now we've got your financial goal and your reasons why, it's time to bring that financial goal to life. And we're going to use the SMARTER framework to do it. So SMARTER is a mnemonic and it's SMARTER. So S is for specific. You're going to clearly define what you want. M is going to be measurable. You're going to identify how you'll track your progress. A is achievable. You're going to ensure that the goal is realistic. R, you're going to make it relevant. So you're going to align it with your broader objectives. T, time-bound. You're going to set a deadline for achieving that goal. E, evaluate. Is the approach you're taking working? So that's going to come into play later on. We're going to bring that one to life later on. R, you're going to assess your goals to ensure they are still appropriate. Again, we're going to bring that one into play a little bit later on. For now, you're going to set a goal for your finances. So instead of saying you want more clients, what you're actually going to say is you're going to earn 70K by the end of the year, by the end of 2025. Now, I want you to note that that is an outcome goal. There are two different types of goals. One is an outcome goal, one is a process goal. So the outcome goal that you've got, earning 70K by the end of 2025, now you need to identify your process goals. How are you going to achieve that 70K by the end of 2025? Right? So work out that 70K. Where is that coming from? So if you need, 10 clients, each paying you £7,000, great. That's fine. So what are they going to be paying you for? How does that work? Then you need to work out how many leads you need to get in order to get those 10 clients. So these are going to be process goals, right? So if you know that you need to reach out to, say, 1,000 people to get 10 clients, then you need to identify how you're going to reach out to those 1,000 people. How are you going to do it? Are you going to reach out to 10 people on LinkedIn every day? Are you going to make 10 cold calls every day? What is it you're going to do to achieve that 70K? So again, that 70K, how are you going to earn it, i.e. monetarily? How much are people going to be paying you for what kind of work? And then once you've identified how many clients you need to identify that 70K, you're going to need to work out how many leads you'll need to create to get those clients. And once you've got that, those are your process goals, right? So that is going to tell you how you will earn that 70K. Do you see how it's all coming together? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that now. We're going to talk about strategies for achieving your goals. So firstly, you're going to think about reverse engineering. You're going to start with the end goal and map backwards. That's what we've talked about. Next, you're going to want to consider making your goal easy to perform. So you're going to make performing the habit easy. If you make it difficult, if you make achieving that goal difficult for yourself, you are going to struggle to do it. So make it easy for yourself. If you're going to make cold calls, where are you going to get the phone numbers from? Right? You need to think about that. Next, you want to think about an accountability. So you might want to partner with a mentor, a coach, an accountability group. And the reason this is important is because accountability, well, we've not had any accountability since we were children. You know, when we were children, we had our parents, we had teachers, and they told us what to do and when to do it, and we did it, right? Then you become an adult, and then you have no more accountability. Certainly when you go into business for yourself, there's nobody managing you. There's no one holding you to account. And this is a lot, this is a lot of the time. This is where people struggle to achieve their goals. Having an accountability, someone to hold you to account, yeah, that's really going to help you. Next, you want to think about tracking your progress. So you can use tools like Trello, Notion, Excel. Maybe you can use a simple journal. I'm going to include a link to a simple journal in the show notes for you to take a look at. There's also a desktop notebook that you can just have out open, and that can also track your progress. Finally, you want to celebrate your milestones, so reward yourself for any small wins along the way. If you make your 10 cold calls, great. If you sign a client, great. Reward yourself. Remind yourself that you've done well. Take some time, be mindful, be present, and reward yourself. Next, you want to focus on habit building. So focus on small, consistent actions. You know, if you think that making 10 cold calls sounds scary, focus on 5 for now. Focus on, a few. Whatever it is, then you can increase in time as you get more used to your comfort zone being growing, right? Because the thought of making 10 cold calls might be a little bit scary for you, but you can definitely start off with 1 or 2. Now, there are loads of steps that you can take to facilitate your success. And what we're going to do now is follow the advice shared in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Now, one of the biggest lessons he shares is that you need to set your environment up for success. For example, if you know you want to make 70K by the end of the year, and you know that you need to make 10 cold calls a day to make that happen, then how are you going to set your environment up to make sure that you do your 10 cold calls? Can you put your phone out the night before on top of your keyboard? Can you create a printout and put that on your desk to make sure that you've got that little prompt that cold calling is essential stuff? How can you tweak your environment? If you wanted to eat more healthy food rather than having, crisps and whatever else in your cupboard, you could put fruit out on the worktop where everyone can see it, and then that prompts you when you see it, you grab it and, take a bite. Now, I did say I was going to keep examples to business and marketing, and that one is obviously not related to that. But, that's the one that occurred to me when I thought about setting up the environment. So I thought I'd share it with you. It's a good one. And the next thing that you might want to consider is talking about identity-based goals. So James Clear talked about the fact that lasting success comes from aligning goals with the person that you want to become. So instead of saying that you want to sign 10 clients or you want to make 10 calls, you say, I'm a HR consultant who focuses on lead gen every day and builds long-term partnerships. And if you repeat that to yourself, that mantra, then you will align your daily habits with this identity. So you're going to respond to client inquiries promptly. You're going to share case studies that demonstrate expertise. You're going to show up consistently in online spaces. You're going to allot time to whatever lead gen method it is that you're comfortable with. Whatever it is, once you identify as the HR consultant who focuses on lead gen and long-term client relationships, you will find that the behaviors start to align with that identity. And this shift in mindset creates a situation where you believe what you tell yourself, and your body and brain start to follow that instruction to ensure that you're true to your word. After all, you can't keep telling yourself that you're a HR consultant who focuses on lead gen if you don't do any lead gen. Your brain will catch on and either stop you from saying this, or it'll make you do your lead gen. Some other tips from James Clear is that you need to make it obvious. So we've talked about this a little bit earlier on by talking about having your notepad out and whatever else for your cold calls. But you also want to think about scheduling time in your calendar for your marketing activities. Whatever it is, put an hour in your diary every day for marketing activities. Treat it like a doctor's appointment. Treat it as something that is non-negotiable. That at 3:00, you're doing your marketing activities. Nothing interferes with that, right? And then that way you're committed. Your brain will tell you, you'll build up that habit that at 3:00, you could even set an alarm on your watch, on your phone, whatever it is. 3:00, you're doing your marketing activities. You also want to make it attractive, whatever habit it is that you're building, whatever goal that you're working towards. So, yeah, you can consider joining a group or a community of HR consultants where you can share wins and challenges. Something, for example, like the HR Business Success Squad. You can attach rewards to milestones, like celebrating after signing a client. If you know that you need to sign a client, attach some sort of reward to that. Once that's happened, you're going to treat yourself to, I don't know, a takeaway pizza from your favorite restaurant. Whatever it is, you're not allowed that pizza unless you sign your client. Be disciplined. And, when you reward yourself, good Lord, that'll be the best pizza of your life. You also want to try and make these habits easy. I know we've talked about this briefly before, but using templates for LinkedIn messages, for sales emails, for client proposals, whatever that is, that can reduce friction. That makes, achieving your goals, performing the habit, it makes it easy. You can also consider using automated outreach tools like Walaxy, but don't let LinkedIn catch you doing that because you will be banned from the platform. Next, you want to make it satisfying. So track progress visibly, right? So you might have a chart for outreach activities. You might have it on the wall. You might have it on the desk in front of you. I'll share a link in the show notes of a desktop habit tracker, which is really cool. You can track your progress visibly. You won't want to make a breach in the ticks that you make in your chart. You will see that you do your marketing activities every day, and you won't want to have a gap. You want to keep that running. So yeah, that will be satisfying. You also want to celebrate small wins. So we've talked about this, earlier, but booking discovery calls, getting positive feedback, whatever it is, celebrate those small wins. You don't need to plan out for the big pizza. Maybe it's just like having a little Twix bar, whatever it is. Moving on from celebrating wins, we're going to talk about preparing for failures, right? Because it is going to happen. So, and also managing your expectations. Progress can feel invisible until suddenly it really kicks off into visible results. So, if you start cold calling at the start, you might not be so great, even though you've got a script, even though you know what you're doing. You have to give yourself a bit of forgiveness that the first few aren't going to produce the results. That doesn't mean you should give up. It means you should keep going until eventually you'll make 3 or 4 calls all in a row and you'll get meetings off the back of them. So, remind yourself that change takes time. So in terms of your marketing goals, you might want to remind yourself that building trust with your audience takes time. So you need to stay consistent with your marketing, even if you're not getting those immediate results. And you might want to accept the fact that your income might fluctuate. So focus on building that pipeline to stabilize the revenue over time. So, when you think about the 70K, that is give or take about 6K a month. Some months you might not hit 6K, but there are other months where you will hit more than the 6K. So, life isn't perfect. So, yeah, life isn't perfect. You're not perfect. Don't expect perfection. Forgive yourself if you mess something up. And don't skip a habit or activity 2 days running, whatever you do, because that's the start of a new habit, a habit that leads to you not achieving your goals. One of the final piece of advice I've got for you for achieving your goals is to reinforce your habits with feedback loops. So you need to evaluate progress regularly. Schedule that weekly review of, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Have you got the leads you're expecting? Have the calls been going well? Is something happening on the calls that is regularly happening that is hampering your progress? So effectively, schedule time to reflect on what's working and what isn't, and then tweak the approach. Equally, you want to set yourself expectations in terms of your results. And if you're not achieving those expectations, identify why not and amend your strategy accordingly. Also, make sure to celebrate those small wins to keep the momentum going. Now, before I wrap up this podcast, I do want to share one last piece of information with you. Remember at the start when I said you've got that voice in your head that will sabotage you and your goal achievement? Well, that's the only reason you won't achieve your goals if you set out with a plan and work it until it gets you the results that you want to get. You may have to switch up tactics here and there. You may have to get help with your plan. But overall, the only reason you won't achieve your goals is if you stop working towards them. Now, that might sound a bit aggressive to you, and I'm sorry if it comes across that way, but I'm just being honest. But I want you to take this honesty the way I mean it, because it should be inspiring for you. You have the power to do whatever the hell you set your mind to. You honestly do. There is nothing stopping you from building a market-leading HR consultancy if that's what you want to do. You just got to make the plan and then put that plan into action. Think it, plan it, do it. You can achieve anything you want to achieve. You've just got to decide to do it and control that tiny little voice in your head. Be disciplined and do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And you will achieve everything that you want to achieve. And that's it for today's episode. I hope it was inspiring. I hope it gives you something to think about. To summarize, set your clear, smarter goals today. Set your outcome goal, set your process goals. Then break them down into your actionable steps. Commit to a timeline, celebrate your progress. And yeah, that is how you will achieve your goals. In the new year, I'll be sharing a podcast episode about creating your own marketing plan so you can put these goals into the plan and then you can identify areas that you need to work on because you've not considered them. But for now, focus on setting your goals and how you're going to do it. I've shared loads of resources in the show notes to help you along the way. There is a prompt you can copy and paste into ChatGPT to create your own goal achievement program. And if you want any further information on setting and achieving goals, then check out the show notes for links to books and products that I recommend, namely the James Clear Atomic Habits book. There's Michael Hyatt, How to Achieve Your Goals. And there is a tidy little planner and a habit tracker. Now, yeah, full honesty, these are Amazon affiliate links, so I'll get a cheeky little kickback if you use them, probably 10p and half a chomp bar, but every little helps, right? And if you need extra help to make sure you achieve your financial goals for 2025, then consider joining the HR Business Success Squad. It's got everything you need to succeed. All the content, all the support, all the accountability, and most importantly, a community who are all heading in the same direction so you can lean on each other to grow and share wins. And if you join by the end of January and use code New Year, that's one word, all in capitals, New Year, you'll get 25% off your first month's fees so you can see what all the fuss is about while saving yourself 50 quid. Though that is limited to the first 3 people to use it, so act fast if you want to take advantage. In the meantime, thanks for listening. And as ever, get marketing, because without marketing, there's no sales. And without sales, there's no business. So get marketing.
Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, then please consider taking a minute to help us grow by sharing the episode with a friend or colleague, or by leaving a positive review on podchaser.com. And make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes if you haven't done so already. I've been your host, Nick Paninsky, and if you've got any questions or you want to know more about today's topic, then feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd be delighted to hear from you. See you next time.